Christmas has come and gone, but not gone are the warm feelings that one gets around the holidays. And we've got one more film to consider this year. Will we go out with a bang or a whimper? Welcome to Half-Ass Movie Podcast.
Now is this a Christmas movie? Now is this a Christmas movie? Now is this a Christmas movie? Or is it dumb slop?
Welcome to Half-Ass Movie Podcast, a show where we put together a half-ass theme as an excuse to watch movies. All right, hold on. Golly, you almost had it, didn't we? Where we watch movies. My name is Adam Portress, and joining me today, just before the show, he was talking about how good his Paul Giamatti impression is and how he's excited to do it for you right now. Sweet Sean Kovacs from the internet.
Not true. If I want to see fabulously wealthy kids complain about how tough their life is, I'll just move back to Connecticut. Thank you.
And he's a genuine troglodyte. Bruce Leslie.
All of my boarding schools were, well, you could say operated by the state.
Sometimes, listen, it's who loves you, you know, whether it's the state or somebody else, who cares? As long as somebody's there for you. Well, we are back, everybody, with our question of the month. Is this a Christmas movie? And we are at the end of our Christmas year here and everything. And this movie, I think Bruce was smart because he was the only one of us that had seen it previously and everything. And you said that this movie goes from Christmas all the way into New Year. So we thought that this would be a fitting time for us to slot this bad boy in here.
The whole third act is between Christmas and New Year's.
So
Christmas and school starting back, rather.
Yeah. Oof. Let me tell you, there's watching this. It was one of those things where I'm just like, boy, am I excited never to have to, go back to school after Christmas break again. Because boy, talk about the worst time ever when you were a kid. It's like, oh right, this has been the best. Now it's back to your regular scheduled programming. Ugh.
Oh, I wish I could go back to school. That's the last time I was the best at anything.
Give the boy a chance. He wants to try. Just give him a chance. But we'll get into all of that good stuff. But before we do, we do want to remind everybody that what you're listening to right now is also a live stream over on YouTube. Every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, we are broadcasting HMP live here. Come out and be one of the dirty babies in the chat. Let us know what's up. And drop one of these.
Fortress Bucks.
Holy cow. We had a whole bunch of those. And Bruce and I actually had a decent amount of those back when we were doing our Christmas Eve live stream here and everything, where just the entire world went to pot real fast.
But people still supported us.
They really did. It was horrible. We got copy struck for doing public domain movies, which I thought was a really great thing of how that actually just all ironed out. Thanks, Elvira. I know she was one that tagged us for some stupid reason.
Yeah, Miss Peterson.
But there's good times to be had, so we want to thank everybody that joined us out for the live stream. Bruce and I talked a little bit, and we're gonna plan something a little bit bigger, nicer for next year. That hopefully we can get around any laws or things of that
We've
nature.
got a mild game show plan, Sean. If you ever want to drop in on that one,
Nice.
I know you love the game shows. But I got for Christmas a deck of cards that are bad synopses of movies, and I read them, and then you have to try to guess and get help from the chat.
Oh, that's nice.
So we'll be doing all kinds of stuff like that. So check out our YouTube channel there and everything. That's where we do all of these fun stuff and hang out, talk in the chat and all that kind of good stuff. And, of course, check out TikTok Trash Tuesday. That's where I go to movie TikTok and bring out some stuff and then bring it back, and we all talk about it and make fun of people on the internet, because what else is the internet for? Am I right? That and, well, anyways. What was it? Avenue Q told us all about that. Anywho, all the links for that are in the show notes. And as always, thank you guys so much for your support. And if you really, really enjoy this show, head on over to patreon.com/HMP. Pre-show, post-show, Dinger Zone. And this week's Dinger Zone is our top 5 movies that take place at school. We're going down to school movies here and everything. And we all know that School Days is the number one position for all of us. So we had to take that one out of contention, right? Spike Lee's
Which
School Days?
The one with the Z or the one with the Y?
It's the one with the Z. It's the Spike Lee's School Days with the Z.
Hey, I've been compared to the Samuel L. Jackson character in that movie by at least one Englishman.
Yeah, well, listen, different strokes for different folks, as I suppose they say. So if you want to be one of those awesome people, let me show you some of the Patreon supporters. There they all are. Look at those beautiful dirty babies. And we want to see this change up. This graphic's been steady for way too long, people. Patreon.com/HMP. But if you don't, hey, why don't you just go over into the YouTube page there, hit a like and subscribe and all that kind of good stuff. We really appreciate all of you fine people for all of those fun things. Let's get into it, fellas. Here is the IMDb plot line for the the Holdovers. I keep wanting to say the Hangovers, and that's not correct at all. They do a little drinking in this movie, but not that much movie. Here comes the IMDb plotline. As we know, IMDb always 100% correct in everything they say and or do. In 1970, a curmudgeonly history teacher at a New England boarding school remains at campus during Christmas break to supervise held-over students and ends up forming an unlikely bond with a brainy but damaged troublemaker. This was written by David Hemmingson, who did a ton of TV. We got everything from The Adventures of Pete and Pete, 101 Dalmatians, the animated television series, Just Shoot Me, Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23, Blackish, and an episode of the new Uncle Buck TV series with Mike Epps as Uncle Buck, because we were all looking forward for that one. This is directed by Alexander Payne, who, of course, did Citizen Ruth, Election, About Schmidt, Sideways, The Descendants, Nebraska, and most recently, Downsizing. This is starring Paul Giamatti, Dominic Caesar, Divine Joy Randolph, and Carrie Peterson. Preston, I'm sorry. Well, we so far and so close. But Bruce, yeah, you'd seen this one before, huh?
Yes, and I liked it. I'll go ahead and show my hands a little early, and I'll follow that up with a question for you guys, because I was thinking about this earlier today, but are Alexander Payne's two best movies both set in schools? I don't know how you guys feel about his filmography overall. Downsizing is not as good as this.
No, those are his two best movies. Election and this.
Yeah,
are his two best movies.
Maybe he needs to stick in that setting for a while.
I realized something watching this movie this week, which is that Alexander Payne makes movies that very angry, hyper liberal people enjoy, like way more liberal than I am. And not just this movie, but this is one of those movies where like people who are learned and consider themselves like a bit of a film snob are like, well, this movie is very funny. It's like, no, it's human interest. That's for sure. But I wouldn't call this movie funny. But there is a certain type of person who would watch this movie and go, oh, this is the best comedy of the year, this movie. Mm-hmm. No.
I know that I had a college professor who I know would have thought this was funny because he told a joke that he thought was hilarious that involved Benjamin Disraeli and a person in the crowd saying, "Hear, hear." And that's the kind of guy who would like this.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Now, don't get me wrong. I like this movie a lot. I was kind of surprised because I do not like Alexander Payne movies for the most part. I find his filmmaking to be what a lot of people would refer to as pompous.
Yes.
And I do see where they're coming from. I wouldn't say that I'm there, but where they are standing, I can see from where I'm standing. It's one of those things. Like, I don't think he's a bad filmmaker in any way. I think that what he makes is interesting movies that half the time I'm like, will you get out of your own ass, please?
I think
he has a hard time with that from time to time. I think that this is one of those movies that he kind of knows that about himself, and that's what makes the movie work.
I think he kind of lost me with Sideways. I just didn't quite get the love for it. Like, I didn't think it was a bad movie, but I thought it was like mildly interesting. But people were going bananas over that one.
That's the funniest movie of the year.
Oh, sorry. I'm not very refined. I prefer as a little Tommy boy.
Now, who do you think's worse at that particular type thing here, Sean? Because I'm going to give you another filmmaker, Noah Baumbach.
Oh, he's way worse.
He's way worse than Alexander Payne. Come on now. Worse. For the lefty liberal who's going in to see something, a Noah Baumbach movie is what you want to see.
Yes, not even remotely close. Alexander Payne makes movies that I can watch, whereas Noah Baumbach kind of doesn't. Like, he'll have a movie once out of every 5 movies he makes. I'm like, oh, you know what? That looks interesting. And I'll watch it and I'll start yelling at the TV.
I don't know which Noah Baumbach movie I watched, but ever since then, I avoid those like bullets. It's just, boy, if it's coming out, I'll do whatever I got to do to miss that one.
Man, Noah Baumbach makes him look like Richard Linklater, doesn't it?
Without a doubt. Yes.
Which, by the way,
it's not even close.
Difference.
I know, but at the beginning of this, when we start out at the school and everything, I thought it was the most Linklater thing that now we got 8 names rolling around here. That what's his nut had ever Alexander Payne had ever done. It was very Alexander Payne-esque, the kind of early dialogue scenes in this movie. That's what I kind of I was like, oh yeah.
Did it remind you of like the guy talking about his friend who had Madonna's pap smear? Is that the kind of dialogue you're talking about?
No, it was more like did you see what was it? What was the college movie he just put out? It was called like Good Time or some shit like that. What was it called?
I don't know.
It wasn't great, but it felt like that, where it was just like a bunch of college students, but they were kind of, yakking about and everything. And this movie felt a little like that.
I'm a dazed and confused kind of guy. I like that.
Oh, that's a better movie than a lot of those other films are. But let's be honest.
I like Slacker just for the can do part.
So Paul Giamatti's character here and everything. Have you guys ever had teachers that are like this? Because I had like an English teacher that was of this kind of level and everything, who would get super passionate about work and other things like that, to almost an embarrassing level. He read a poem to us once, and then by the end he was just like physically exhausted from it, and we were all like, get a room, buddy.
I didn't take many classes in the arts, unfortunately, and I think that was a real missed opportunity for me back when I was younger and in school. But you don't quite get this out of like physics professors, chemistry professors, that sort of thing.
I had an English teacher and I had a history teacher back to back in high school, and the history teacher just ignited my love for history. He was such a great teacher. I hope he's still alive. I hope he's watching. Mr. Armstrong, thank you. My English teacher, who I will not name, was basically like Paul Giamatti, but a lady. And she was the worst. She made me hate the English language for a while. It took until college for me to go, oh, no, I see why this is very, very important. Whereas she just made me hate every second I was in the classroom. She was awful. And I wasn't a great student in the first place. Like my mind wandered constantly in class, except because I love stories. I've always been somebody who just loves hearing stories. And so hearing somebody who was a really great storyteller talk about history, it changed the way I saw the world.
I did have one bad calculus professor who, I don't know, he was like upset that I kind of didn't need him to teach me calculus. And that's what really bothered him, because, calculus is one of those classes. Yeah. It doesn't matter if you get the answer right. What matters is how you got there. Mm-hmm. And he would look at me showing my work and he's like, this clearly isn't how a regular person does it. Like, you just figured this out on your own. You didn't study. And I'm like, well, doesn't it still count? And he's like, no, you've got to study. You can't just know how to do it.
I hate people like that shit. That's ridiculous. I got it done. Who cares how I did it? Shut up.
Yeah, my physics professor, same thing. I could figure out a lot of physics because I've been living on the face of the earth my whole life. And he thought it was cool that I could figure things out, but not the calculus.
Person's like, ball go down. I mean, it doesn't take a genius. Come on.
I mean, you'd have to be a flat out idiot, not just to intuitively understand what momentum is. You know what I mean? It's just weight plus velocity equals force. That you don't have to study to know that.
Already way smarter than me right there. Just that one little sentence. Isn't that sad?
If I had lived in a different time, and you know what? I don't ever talk highly of myself, Sean. So I want to brag on myself here for a moment. If I lived in a different time, I might have been Isaac Newton. You never know.
I'd be a wizard amongst you sons of bitches. I'll tell you that right now.
Actually, you're right. I would have been an alchemist.
From what I understand, he was just widely beloved during his time. So I could see that.
So we get where is this
sought after party guest?
Where's this taking place again?
New England.
Yeah, I knew it was kind of the area. I didn't know if they'd named something kind of specific here or whatnot.
Is this like a made up school, or is this like a real private school? Barton, I think they call it.
I don't know the private school sector enough, but I would imagine that it's not a real place just because of the end. What happens at the end? I would imagine that it's a made up school.
And I guess they're all just kind of based on like Exeter, one of those places.
Right.
Places that none of us would be welcome at. And to be honest, we would really get sick of the place after an hour or two anyway.
And yeah, like, look at the architecture. This is cool. This is cool. And then it wears off real fast. And then you're like, okay, can we get to a place that has working toilets?
What is it that sets this movie apart? Because there's something here that I can't put my finger on, but what sets it apart from all the other sad kid at private school movies? Things like Rushmore, Scent of a Woman, School Ties, those kind of things.
Well, there's two things. One is that the kid is likable. And you can understand why he's rebelling. You can understand, and they make that clear early on. And he stands up for nerds. He stands up to the guy who's like trying to bully him at the beginning. There's all of those little moments. And it turns out also that he's just incredibly smart. And so both of those things make it a little different. The second thing is that it's basically the kid that's making the relationship work. It's not the other way around. Like the adult isn't really the one who's making everything go. It's the boy. The boy is making things go. And there's something just extra charming about that, which is kind of the secret sauce of this movie. If it's Paul Giamatti trying to really get this kid, like we're gonna make something out of this boy, like that wouldn't work. But because it's the boy, kind of giving the teacher a heart for once, it totally works, and it's kind of cool. Like it's the thing that I like the most about this movie.
And it's kind of a remake of a French movie from 1935 called Marlouse. Did either of you guys run across that?
Oh, constantly. No,
I know about it because Alexander Payne name checks it in a couple of interviews. I do know that.
Well, I read the synopsis, and I mean, it's pretty clear. It says a tough teacher charged with looking after the students left behind at a boarding school during the Christmas holidays rises to the challenge and comes to better understand the boys in his care. It's a pretty direct remake, I think. But the reason he name dropped it is because he got sued for plagiarism, and he's like, no.
Oh, really?
Oh,
yeah. March 2024, Variety reported that a screenwriter named Simon Stevenson lodged a complaint with the Writers Guild because he had wrote a script for a film called Frisco, and it was on the 2013 blacklist. Ooh. And he said that Payne had been sent the script at least 2 times in the 2010s and said that it had pretty much the same script. And I think that Alexander Payne's answer is, yeah, I'm not going to buy your script when Marlouse is what you based it on. You know what I mean? It's like prior art for both scripts means that one didn't rip off the other.
No, you don't understand. My main character is played by Thomas Hayden Church. So it's different.
It's a much louder character. The man has no voice modulation at all.
I love you.
I would love if Thomas Hayden Church played the Giamatti character.
It would work. It would still work. It'd just be a different character. You got a giant leathery lobster instead of a guy who has an eyeball that goes crazy.
Did you replace the lunch lady with the guy that played Dauber on Coach? I'm seeing a whole new cast here.
Oh man, I'm seeing a lot of tall whites in your recasting.
They are in the New England area.
Well,
there we got a run on the tall whites here.
And I don't know how much Harry Potter experience you guys have, but watching this, I just thought about how poor Harry always had to stay at Hogwarts with his friends and get into mischief over Christmas break because he didn't want to go stay with the Dursleys.
This was
always a big part of those movies.
The idea of it, like the whole thing, the whole conceit of it, of you're going to private school and everything, and for whatever reason you can't go home on Christmas and got to stay. The worst ever. It's just like you cannot, especially if you're at that age and everything. That is just a death sentence for your entire holiday. It's absolutely ruined. And it starts out well enough when you've got, at least, 5, 6 other guys with you and everything to kind of level everything out, and then it seems like it's going to be a-okay, and then no, guess what? Everybody else gets taken away in a helicopter while your shitty parents can't even pick up a telephone.
Oh man, it's just brutal. I felt so bad for that kid.
It felt like what would happen to me, to be quite honest, because I had something similar, like in high school to a weird degree, where everybody was just like, we're going on, like, there was like this big kind of a trip to England or whatever, and everybody was just like, we're not going to that. And of course, all of these assholes went, and I didn't go because we all talked about not going. And then I'm sitting here, everyone is over in England having the hell of a time, and I'm here just eating in the cafeteria with the rest of the losers, just going like, oof. I could have gone. My parents said, do you want to go? I would have gone, but everybody was like, no, we're not going. And every one of those assholes went.
Oh, man.
Oof. Terrible.
That's rough. That's how you know they just didn't want you to go at.
Clearly.
I was never shocked when that would happen to me. Were you shocked?
Not overly. Not nearly as much as one would suspect. I was just like, yeah, that seems about right.
So the first note that I wrote for this movie is this. So why isn't the fact that the main character looks like Paul Giamatti enough for this movie? They got to give him a crazy eye. They got to make him stink too. Like, why isn't just being Paul Giamatti enough for this movie?
He's got the most Sislak kind of thing where they're like, if we're drawing him, we got to draw the stink lines coming out of him.
That's what I mean. Like when you think about something like, there's people who are just naturally attractive, right? Or people who are at least on the fence of being attractive, like actors, whatever. No one in 1,000 years would say Paul Giamatti is too attractive for this role. You know,
dumb them down, get it down. Says too sexy. Send them back until we can get
That's
it.
That's what I
just
mean.
Right.
It made me a little at the beginning of the movie like, what? How much more does this poor actor have to go through? Quite honestly, you know, like, and maybe it's the other way where it's like, listen, we can't just straight up call Paul Giamatti a pig.
Fellas,
like,
what if I stink, huh? What if I smell really bad?
I think they're just, I feel like I've known those people that are just beaten down in every way. You know, he's beaten down in his career. He wasn't gifted with a beautiful body. He stinks. He sweats too much. You don't know which eye you're talking to.
But you always had a teacher with bad breath or something, right? That would always want to be getting in your face, telling you secrets or some shit. And you're just like, get out of here, dog. So like those people 1,000% exist. And they always got to tell you something.
It's like they say some guys have all the luck. Well, sometimes that luck is bad and they still have all of it. That's kind of what Giamatti's character's like. It gives you a little insight to why he's a bitter, hateful bastard, unlike you and I, Sean, who have no reason for it. But despite our relative success, we still hate the world.
I don't hate the world.
There was a time when you did.
Without a doubt, yes.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't hate the world now either, but there was a time when I did.
Oh yeah, the world. I was very angry, and if somebody said, "Why are you always so angry?" I'd go, "I don't know. I don't know. I'm just
regulating things is tough. Shut up."
Why are you angry? I'm not angry. You're angry.
So the other thing about this movie that I was like, and I realized they were doing it on purpose, but the first two times it flipped, I was like, well, that's a continuity error. Is the eye is it goes from eye to eye. The fake eye that Giamatti has is moving from eye to eye throughout the movie.
Well, if you have something called monofixation, you can do that with strabismus. So that was actually a nice touch, I thought.
Oh, I see. And no. I mean, I got it later. Like I understood it later, but at first I was like, well, that's a continuity error. And only when everyone starts bringing it up and, and everybody starts calling him wall-eyed and all that stuff. I was like, oh, they're doing that on purpose, that they're moving the fake eye from eye to eye because it's off-putting, and it's way more off-putting if it changes which eye it is,
And for perspective, I would say go back and watch some of the latter Marty Feldman movies, and his eyes do that too, and his aren't prosthetic.
True.
Yeah, it's just like listen, whatever they're doing. I mean, I suppose what do we figure? CGI eyeballs got to be right.
No,
It's a
prosthetic
lens
that they used.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's a painted contact lens called scleral shell.
Well,
Or actually, I think they used a soft lens, which is kind of tricky to paint. So they must have had a pretty talented orthoptist is the name of the person who paints eyes on prostheses.
do most of them do portraits or landscapes?
Depends on the ethnicity of the person.
So portraits. Let me ask you something. What is your feeling overall when it comes to Jesus? Why am I blanking on his name already? Paul Giamatti. What is your overall thought on him as an actor? Do you like him?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan. I think he brings like a level of gravitas to whatever he's doing. Like the range isn't always the widest and the craziest and everything, but he is always 100% giving whatever he has to that role and everything. Real big fan. I mean, he can play kind of like he can do older type stuff, like period pieces. He can do modern, like your John Adams and stuff like that. He can do modern stuff and still feel, like he's a man in present time and all that kind of good stuff. So I think he's got a lot of range. Even despite
forgot he was John Adams.
Even despite kind of like a little, his box.
I bring a lot of baggage into the Paul Giamatti situation because growing up, I thought Pete Rose was like the greatest baseball player of all time. Bart Giamatti's who banned the guy for life from baseball. And it's weird how you reflect on that stuff, but I think it was the Harvey Pekar movie, American Splendor, got me to turn the corner on him because he really, in my opinion, transformed into Harvey Pekar, guy whose interviews I'd watched and stuff, and a guy whose work I was a fan of. And he just communicated that character so well that he won me over there. But a lot of times I feel like he's sort of doing the same performance with different lines. Other than that,
my issue with him is that he doesn't tone anything down. So like when he does his guest appearance on 30 Rock, with Richie, who's in love with the other sound editor on the show, and there's a lot of like really great lines, and he just needs to overact the entire time, and he doesn't make the absolute cardinal sin of everything I'm doing is funny. He doesn't do that, but he is overacting. And he's way overdoing it in those scenes. And ever since I saw him do that at the time, I watch for that in other performances with him, and he does do it. He'll have a moment in almost everything he's in where it's like the director couldn't bring you in a little bit. Like, why are you always at 10, dude? Like, just be like easy, be a little easier.
Well, I think a lot of people are like Matt here, and this may be one of the first movies they remember seeing Paul Giamatti in. Siskel and Ebert recently reminded me of the first place that I saw Paul Giamatti was Howard Stern's Private Parts, where he played Pig Vomit.
Pig Vomit in that movie.
Yeah.
And he was like featured very highly in the trailer there and everything. So like as silly as that sounds, like that's your face going out in a whole bunch of commercials that a whole bunch of people see and stuff like that. So believe it or not, even being in that little ad, I think boosted his career.
I think the catch-22 with Paul Giamatti and my approach to his performances are that he is so good as an actor at portraying unlikable characters that I end up transferring that unlikability to the actor, I think.
Yeah,
because he's
that's
really
possible.
good with those unlikable characters like this guy who, he has his redemption, but is it worth it or not? We'll talk about that. And then Pig Vomit, who's, irredeemable. I think he's kind of a, just a little whiny biatch in Sideways. He has some performances where he's doing a great performance, but what he's being asked to do is portray a person that I don't like. So it just becomes separating the art from the artist.
That kind of guy is annoying. Somebody that just gets wound up and you let them go, and it's just like then they don't stop, and you're like, oh my god, it's exhausting. Those people are exhausting. So I could see how that would make you go, maybe not.
And don't get me wrong, like I don't dislike him, and I don't dislike him as an actor. If I see he's in something, I'm not like, oh come on, But I'm somebody who is willing to be the villain in a movie called Big Fat Liar. Like, you know what? Like, that's great. That's really great. That means that he's not completely full of himself. But then you see him in something like as the Rhino in the Amazing Spider-Man movies, and you're like, come on, dude. Like, bring it down a couple of notches. What are we doing?
I just bought a
thank
Maserati
goodness-
and I need to pay for it.
Thank goodness he never revisited that role. It was cameo level only.
Yeah. For now.
But I think the only role that I can think of where I see him as heroic in any way would be American Splendor. Because I'm struggling to come up with anything else.
John Adams.
Well, I haven't seen that.
By the way,
Oh.
my
I thought it was Sam Adams, and I'm trying to quit drinking. So
my version of the when we went to see the American Splendor there and everything, I remember very specifically that screening because it was at the Enzion in Orlando, Florida, when I was going to film school. It was a double feature that night: first American Splendor, and then oddly enough, Clockwork Orange in 35 millimeter.
ooh,
It's like the
That's-
weirdest like double feature combo ever.
That's weird.
yeah, Kubrick doesn't blend well, so it's strange to see a double feature.
Well, it wasn't planned as a double feature. That was literally just the things that were playing at the movie
Oh,
theater,
okay.
and we just happened to see that one. And then then we bumped into a whole bunch of people that we knew going in to see Clockwork Orange and stuff like that. So
Well, it sounds like a cool movie theater showing Clockwork Orange back before theaters were struggling and doing a lot of flashbacks.
it was great. I would always recommend. They're still there, Enzion. They're one of the only local independent cinemas in Florida there and everything. They have a dine-in theater and all that kind of good stuff, and all the seating is very eclectic and different and stuff like that. It's a very cool place.
Sounds like it.
They owe me some money for that advertisement. Anyways,
I think they probably need all the help they can get these days, so let them have it.
so Divine Joy Randolph. I don't know that I've seen her in things, but I really enjoyed her here as the kind of grieving mother and everything. What a rough road to hoe that this poor lady has in this entire film.
I love that character, though. It elevates this movie by contrasting what the regular people, what the little people's life is like. And this guy's moping about missing a ski trip, but she's missing her son who got sent off to Vietnam because, his family couldn't buy his way out like the rich kids could. It's a nice touch, a nice 70s touch, too.
Is Paul Giamatti's character? He is so partial to her. Is it only because of the dead son? Is it the only reason why he's so kind to her?
That was my take. And maybe it's like he feels like that might be the only person on this campus that he could punch down on.
I see.
I don't know. I never got the fact that he hated faculty or anything else like that. He just hated
I
the
did.
shenanigans. Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
I did
some
too.
faculty, not necessarily her. I mean, because she's not like the rest of the faculty, like those guys are, so to speak. I don't know. That's a good question. I guess I never really.
And I mean, did either of you guys ever befriend your lunch lady in school?
No, I did my janitor, but not my.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them, my school, the lunch ladies were a little bit closer to grandma age than mom age.
That's
and
true.
They all had heartbreaking stories because one in particular, this lady named Fairlene, I knew if, she manned the mashed potatoes. So I got in friendly with her because I get a little more mashed potatoes than everybody else. And I was a big fan of the old potato. But she'd tell me all this, son in prison for something awful. And she knows he did something awful, but she's still heartbroken because he's in prison, like that kind of thing.
Yeesh.
Man, lunch. Something about lunch ladies. They all, I feel like maybe they go into it because they miss their own kids for tragic reasons or something, and they, maybe don't have don't have the interest in being a teacher. I almost said don't have what it takes, but where I went to school didn't take much.
Her name is Fairlene.
Well, poor Fairlene's probably not with us any longer. But her name was, that was her name, Fairlene.
Man,
or
what a great
Farlene.
name.
It was like Farlene, Farlene, but I called her Fairlene. She didn't mind. I would compliment her.
Her name was
beautiful
Phalanx
eyes
Cat.
and stuff.
She was a crazy lady.
She used smokeless tobacco.
Well, if you're a janitor, you can't be or a lunch lady, you can't be smoking inside the lunch line there and everything. You got to have your dip.
Yeah,
Joe.
only the students were allowed to smoke in our cafeteria.
That's the student smoking section over in the
We did have a
cafeteria.
student smoking section in my Kentucky high school, and I'm not lying about that.
Oh my god.
Teachers would bum cigarettes from students out there.
That's Kentucky for you, everybody.
But you had to be in the 7th grade before you could smoke, and I am not making that up either.
Tommy Johnson, you were in the 6th grade. You put that cigarette down until next year.
But there were kids that I played. Well, we didn't have T-ball. We called it Pee-wee. But there were kids on my Pee-wee team that actually used like Skull already. It was
Wow.
the tobacco industry in Kentucky is just as big as in North Carolina, and they encourage tobacco use in public places.
I just remember him at a football practice in middle school, like some of the kids going like, "Can we get some of that?" And they were like, "Yeah, there you go, little kid." And like, because they knew the disaster that was about to come their way, so they're just like, "Yeah, here you go. Here's a little piece for you."
But I thought people smoked everywhere in Kentucky, but I had my granny's brother lived in Black Mountain, North Carolina, and when we went to visit him, people were like smoking in the aisles of the grocery store because North Carolina, like for a while, you couldn't forbid people from smoking anywhere because the tobacco industry was so powerful.
God, what a time to be alive. Now you got to, now if you want to smoke, you got to get 85 feet away from the front door of a building. So go into a harbor time here.
Kids grew up addicted to secondhand smoke. Of course, they're going to have to buy some cigs when they get out of high school.
That makes sense. The kids getting taken away with the helicopter there and everything. That golly, I could like I would be so absolutely pissed and angry, and I don't think there's a thing in the world that would have stopped me from getting on that helicopter and being like, "Oh, you don't guess what? I don't care. How much trouble could I get in at this point?"
That felt a little scent of a woman to me, though, because the guy in that can't go on the ski trip to Europe with all the rich kids, so he has to go babysit Mr. Hua Hua.
I do like how when they came back from it and everything, the blonde-haired kid did have a haircut there and whatnot, so I thought that was a good little... And they didn't sit there and, rake on it or anything going like, "Hey, remember how like his dad said he wanted to have a haircut?" No, they just forced it in there. I thought that was good.
So did you guys understand that they were bowling? What kind of bowling?
No,
that was?
we
Did
needed
you
to
know what
ask
that
you
is?
about this because I'm confused.
Is that called? That's not duck pin. That's like candle pin. Were they doing candle pin?
I'm so glad you asked.
Thank you.
So it is called, you can either call it candlestick bowling or candlepin bowling. And just to give you guys an example, this is a candle pin right here. That is what a candle pin looks like.
Put it in front of your nose for the people watching on vertical.
Oh, okay.
Like, for real, it's not showing.
It's
on
like
vertical.
this.
There you go.
There's a candle. That's what a candle pin looks like. It's a lot bigger than you'd think.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's not a small thing.
Especially with
No
the
one said that
comparison
to
to
me.
the tiny ball there that you're throwing at it and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're throwing a ball about this big with it. Right.
Like no holes in the ball, right?
Right. It's just a solid piece of
Like a big ski ball is what I would think it looks like.
Yeah, it's weightier than that, but yes. And so to give you an example of just how big a deal candlestick bowling is to people in New England, there was a local program called Candlestick Bowling, and I would watch it every single week. No joke. It was one of my favorite times of the week because it was one of the very, very few times where I got control of the TV. One, because it's local. Two, because it's sport. So my parents would be like, "Oh yeah, absolutely, go ahead," because they enjoyed watching candlestick bowling as well. We called it candlestick. You can call it candle pin. No one's gonna yell at you. It's one of those things where I had gone almost my entire life without ever having gone candlestick bowling because we were a duck pin bowling family. Damn it, we had a duck pin alley. We had a duck pin alley in our hometown growing up. That's where we learned to bowl and blah, blah, blah. We were in leagues there when we were little kids. It was super fun. But I always wanted to go candlestick bowling specifically because I was watching it every week. Every single week I would watch it. And so I eventually got to go candlestick bowling about 15 years ago. The experience was amazing. The people who ran the candlestick bowling alley were very like kind of knocked back when I said, "Hey, can I buy a candlestick pin from you?" And the guy was like, "Why?" I said, "Because I live in the South and I grew up with candlepin bowling." And he was like, "Okay, sure. Give me $10." I was like, "Okay, great."
Hey, $10. Hell yeah, dude.
And he went and he fished this bad boy out.
May I ask like a derivative of bowling question of you, Sean?
Please.
If you don't know the answer, I apologize. But what is 8-pin bowling versus 10-pin bowling?
I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is because I didn't grow up with it.
Fellas, I'm going to get on this one. I'm not a mathematician, but I'm going to say it's one less than the 10. Two less.
Well, there's other differences too, but I don't quite know. But I think they do 8-pin bowling on this Canadian show, Corner Gas. But it's like the ball's like the size of a candle pin bowling ball, but it's like they have 8 regular looking pins on the show that they're rolling at. So I don't know if 8-pin is like, well, why are we going to spend money on duck pins or candle pins? Well, we already got these pins. We just use less of them in a smaller ball.
It's like them pool tables ain't got no pockets. It's like, what's the point of this?
I was never much of a fan of 10-pin bowling, like putting my fingers in the holes. I would get suction and when they come off, and I was not very good at it. But I think I would like these other things where you don't have to put your fingers in there. I'd love to try some of the less common bowling types.
I enjoy
the fun thing about it too is that there's no like it's not the kind of game like you can get good at it, but no one's bowling a 300 with duck pin bowling or candle pin bowling. It's just not going to happen. And so, the people who are there are literally there because they just want to have a good time, and that's what's really fun about it.
That's why I think I would like it.
The drinks are cheap.
The drinks were cheap. Yes.
There's nothing worse than going bowling with 3 people like me and 1 person like you, Sean. And I don't mean personality wise, I mean skill level. Because there's just no one having a good time at that point.
I had completely lost my my duck pin ball until I went to maybe like 7 or 8 years ago. I went back home and my sisters and I and my dad all went duck pin bowling. And I had gotten so bad at it that I was like, oh, I can just have fun. Like, I don't have to go through the motions and hit the steps and do, what I was just ingrained in me to do for years and years. It was like, oh, I can just be a regular person and have fun. It was great.
Now, later on, as you went through life, how did you feel about being too busy for like a bowling league? Like, did you miss it, or are you kind of glad you weren't a bowling league guy?
No, I miss it. I miss it all the time. And the first friend I ever had in this world, I went to see him in Connecticut last year, and he is on a bowling league filled with people that I used to bowl with. And it made me so jealous that I was like, oh my God, like they're living my dream right now. I want to be on a bowling league with people I used to bowl with because they know where the bodies are buried. Like they know all the stories. There's a guy on my friend's team who literally he and I were the only 2 who moved on to the Junior Bowlers Tour. And we were the only ones who were like miserable. Like everybody else is like, this is this is really impressive. Like I'd make fun of you, but you're so good at it. I'm not going to make fun of you for this because it's so impressive. And meanwhile, me and Kenny are like in one of the parents' cars going to something and just being like, there are no girls here. We're going to be spending yet another weekend in some town. This is what our lives are. Everyone else is having fun except for us. Like it was like that all the time. And having Kenny, being able to hang out with Kenny again and just being like, hey man, like just talking about those times would be so great.
Oh man, I can sympathize in a weird way because bowling isn't my thing. But in high school, we actually had a quick recall team, an academic team, which is basically like we played Jeopardy, team version of Jeopardy against other schools. Mm-hmm. You may not have guessed, but I was the captain as a junior and a senior, MVP 2 years in a row. Never had
nice.
You a smart ass? That's interesting.
Now, as an adult, one of my coworkers was saying that her trivia team was the state champion in West Virginia. And it's like, man, why don't I have time for that? Because I would be willing to I would put $200 on the line of me solo against their whole team at trivia. Like, that's just how it is. And I wouldn't fear at all. But I never did that. You know, one of my old roommates went on Jeopardy, and I'm like, why? I just don't have the time to do those things. But, you know, who knows? Me and Ken Jennings could be buddies now.
With I will to just bring it all together, to bring everything home. The same channel that played Candlepin Bowling each week also had a local game show called Schools Match Wits. Yes. And it was the same thing where it was like four people in a line, and the school's like, you know, answering trivia questions, and we would watch it, but we were dumb.
We saw Magnolia. We know how it works.
Some states would call it College Bowl, even though they were high school teams. I never quite understood that, but the competition's called College Bowl in some places. It was
because it sounds cooler than Schools Match Wits.
Our TV show that you could play on was called High Q. HI-Q. Also
good.
When my school played on it, I was still in junior high, so they didn't let me play, even though it was long story. I was on the high school academic team starting in the 7th grade.
Damn.
So I got 6 years of high school academic team competition. So I loved it. It was the thing, you know, like I'm Uncle Rico. I want to shock my gonads so I can go back in time and be the captain of the academic team again. It's my glory days moment. Now, speaking of academics and getting back on track, yes. Paul Giamatti, we find out, is a disgraced academic.
Right.
And I just kind of wonder, like, when he meets his friend, he lies about his career, kind of ashamed of his shortcomings. Have either of you guys ever found yourself doing that? Because I found myself not necessarily lying, but being as evasive as I possibly can. Like, I'd almost rather people not know anything about what I do than have.
Oh yeah, I'm an evasive guy. I'm just like, oh yeah, how about all that? And like, I don't offer anything. Is like, yeah, if I'm at that situation, I don't offer any information. I just kind of like, I get through the pleasantries and all that kind of good stuff, and it's just like, I gotta get the hell on out of here. I get that.
To steal a line from Shane Gillis, on paper, my life looks amazing. Like, I have done a lot with the time that I've had on this planet, and it just looks really, really good on a piece of paper. This is all the things this guy has done. So when it comes to that, I tend to not tell somebody something because it sounds fake. I know, look, I don't mean to be grandstanding here. I literally will like keep a complete section of my life off of it. When with like the getting to know you phase, just because it just sounds like bullshit. And so what I end up doing, what ends up happening is that like I'll befriend somebody, time will go by, and eventually, like no one on this job right now, no one knows about that I'm a former comedian. They don't know any of that. All they know is that I used to work in film. And so that's on purpose. Because to have the other part to that, it sounds completely fake. And so I am evasive, but I'm evasive in a way of like, look, you're not going to believe me if I tell you, so I'm just not going to say it. You know, it's that kind of thing.
And, you know, I guess also it's a matter of what is the monster living inside of you. Like the monster inside of you is a little different than mine, Sean, because sure. Let's just say we trade spots and I'm at your point. Instead of thinking about the things I'm accomplished, I'm like, but I am not X role on X studio distributed film. I haven't, you know, done no matter what you do, there's only, if you're not Steven Spielberg, there's somebody better. You know what I mean? If you're not,
yeah.
And I don't know, man. I've pushed myself too hard, and it's caused me to maybe underachieve, considering the other folks in my residency class at Vanderbilt are all like academic department chairs and stuff, and I'm just like bouncing around at the VA doing like what is honestly the minimum acceptable accomplishment for any physician anywhere is like my level of professional work. But I got a lot of stories that people really think I'm an outrageous liar when I tell them true stories about, oh yeah, me and Kevin Eastman. Oh, I rode in a pickup truck with it. Oh yeah, Chuck Yeager. I remember that time me and Chuck Yeager were talking to my grandma. Oh, that summer I lived in Madagascar. Oh man, I remember when I went to Russia. It was so different.
This guy be making some shit up.
I really do sound like a bullshitter.
us.
But I'm telling the truth.
You know what ain't bullshit?
Fortress Bucks.
Matt jumps in with a 5 and says, it's a show when they start talking about everything except the movie.
Well, the problem, Alex, is that before we went into this one, I even said to the guys today, I was like, this is the type of movie where we're going way off track because there's not a ton to talk about with this movie. Like it just is what it is.
It's slice of life.
And that's fine. It's nothing. It's not the kind of movie where you're like, well, we need to break this down. What makes this movie great? It's pretty easy to tell what makes this movie great to me, anyway. I don't know about you guys.
Well, the big turn that I related to was pretty painful, and I've talked about my childhood and some things I've been through. But when Angus visits his father, the main kid, when he visits his father in the psychiatric hospital. Man, that brought back memories. My mother wasn't my father, but my mother was an inpatient in psychiatric hospitals during my childhood, and I had to go visit her, and I hated it. I hated everything about it. And when I was in medical school on my psych rotation, I got ridiculously good grades in it. People thought I would be a great psychiatrist, but I would literally be afraid inside the psychiatric hospital. Mm-hmm. And you just can't, it's this weird when you're like, the thing you're best at is also something you absolutely hate. And that's a weird place to be stuck at.
Yeah.
It was, I love that whole idea and everything of him just kind of wanting to, because especially at that age and everything, you understand what his motivation is and what his, thought process is like, hey, I got to just see what I can do here. And he even wants to, like, you can kind of tell he wants to see something behind Dad's eyes, something that will give him a little bit of hope that there's something still there, but it's just not. Dad's gone.
I don't know how, to me, it seems obvious. I don't know how obvious it is to people who've had a different lived experience, but the real pathos here is Angus is scared shitless. He's going to end up like his father.
Oh yeah, I'm glad
still
they found
to this day am
that.
haunted by like, am I my mom? And there's times when I would go back and watch the way I act on some of these videos and stuff, or listen to old podcasts, and I get real scared. Am I her? And something like that causes me, like, even when a movie's really good like this, it causes me to struggle with it. And then I fall back on the things that I can like. Like, I love the way this movie's shot in terms of the way it looks. It almost feels like a cleaner Harold and Maude, but it still feels 70s to me, which is a time that I love the look of movies. And I read that Alexander Payne worked with his DP intentionally to get a 70s look, and they actually considered shooting it on film, but they wound up going with like the first good RE digital camera. And I think they outdid themselves for a 2010 era digital camera.
They do a great job with the kind of beginning, giving you the 70s R-rated logo there and all that stuff. The original 70s Universal Studios logo there and everything, to give you that very specific time and place of all that, and did a very good job of just cementing you. Like, you knew that, like, this is either late 60s, early 70s, and of course we hit right on 1970 there and stuff. So I thought that was really good, and the sound is all the music cues and everything else like that, not overly specific or anything, but enough to put you right where you need to be.
Something that helped too, the way that the shots are framed, is even though they had an RE Ava, I think is that digital camera they used, they fitted it to use Panavision lenses, so it's got the same kind of lenses that the camera's shooting through.
Oh, that's awesome! I didn't know that.
And I think that's why, Alexander Payne doesn't have to use a 14-year-old digital camera, but I think that's the one that they could fit with the Panavision lenses. So it was the closest he felt he could get to film on digital.
That makes sense.
Great. That's very cool. One of the things I want to talk about is one of my favorite actors shows up in this movie, Carrie Preston. I love Carrie Preston. It's why I corrected you at the beginning of the show, Fortress, because I just love her work. There is something about that actress. She has a 1,000-watt smile. She immediately makes everything brighter when she walks in. I think that she is one of the very few people who is in entertainment now who isn't sexualized in any way. People just love her because she's just great. Like, she's got her own, she had a character on The Good Wife that was so popular that it made it to the next phase of that show when they spun off into another one. And then she spun off into her own show. She has her own ongoing show now as that character. And she is just the brightest ray of sunshine on film. And every time I see her, I'm like, well, she deserves all the good things, that lady. I just love her.
I'm getting increasingly out of touch with television. Has she done any film work? I didn't recognize her. I apologize for that, but sometimes I don't recognize people I should.
Sure. I mean, man, she's also like, she's done a lot. There's something that she was on that I recently saw where I was like, oh, that's surprising that she was on that. I am vamping as I'm looking at her.
Well, if you want me to vamp a little, we can talk about fish odor syndrome. It's a real thing. The condition that he has, I think it's a protein metabolic issue where instead of producing the urea that you lose through your urine, it produces another waste product that you kind of lose through your sweat glands, and it causes that fish odor. It really does kind of smell like, you've been I'm freshwater fish, not saltwater fish too, but it kind of smells like if you've ever pulled a bluegill or something out of a pond and it has that very distinct odor. Well, that's fish odor syndrome.
I see.
And you combine that with the hyperhidrosis that he has, which means you sweat more than one would be expected to sweat. You're really going to have a stinky guy. So when you say that Carrie Preston's not being sexualized, I think it's also fair to say that Paul Giamatti is not being sexualized.
No, it's the opposite with
Which
Paul
is
Giamatti.
normally his thing in films, is the wild over sexualization of Paul Giamatti in all films. We need to stop
we
it,
didn't
quite
have to
frankly.
look at his abs again.
She's in 81 episodes of True Blood. That was the thing that surprised me.
What was her character's name on True Blood? Does it say?
Give me a moment.
Vampire lady.
It's not Sookie Stackhouse, is it?
No.
The Anna Paquin
It's a
character?
very,
I know Deborah Ann Wool and Anna Paquin, but I've watched
Arlene Fowler.
Okay, I know who she is. I secondhand watched a lot of that. When you're married, you secondhand watch stuff quite often.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we need to find out if this here movie is a Christmas movie. We got a couple of questions to get to the bottom of this one.
Oh, and I got to get a pen. I got to keep score.
Okay. So the idea is this. This is the last time we're going to do this one for an entire year. Every Christmas movie has to take this test. Yes or no questions. You get a point for each yes. If a movie gets a 5.5 or higher, it's a Christmas movie. Lower than that, it isn't a Christmas movie. Mm-hmm. So, question number 1. Is Christmas the single most important element of this movie? Portress.
Yeah, without Christmas, movie does not exist because we wouldn't be on Christmas break.
Bruce.
I'm going to ask you, could you make this movie on spring break? Could you make this movie on Thanksgiving break?
It wouldn't hit the same.
Scent of a Woman is Thanksgiving break, and it feels a lot like Scent of a Woman to me. So I'm going to say no on that one.
I'm saying yes. I think that it hits a lot harder that it's Christmas, that there's no family around this kid at Christmas. Number 2, if it were any other time of year, would it change the movie, Bruce?
Well, I'm on, yeah, because you can't do this in summer.
Right.
So you could do it not Christmas, but it still has to be, during the school year. The spring break movie's totally different. If he's missing spring break, he's all bummed out about missing spring break.
If this movie was about spring break, we'd be trying to take Dad out of the hospital and get him down to Key West or something.
That's right. Go to Panama City, bro. Panama City Beach, bro.
To be clear, my vote is yes.
Yeah, me too. Yes.
Yes is all around.
All right. Number 3, other than props, set dressing, and soundtrack, can you tell it's Christmas? Adam?
Yeah. I mean, we got a big giant Christmas party here and everything. I got to be honest with you, for a movie that does take place and is a lot about Christmas and everything, I was worried for many of the Christmassy elements of this for a while. It was just like, are we going to get any of the Christmas kind of stuff? And it did eventually kind of, rear its head and stuff. So I was like, oh, thank God there was a little bit of Christmas in this, because I was getting a little worried for half a second, but we're there enough.
I vote yes on that one.
I'm voting yes also, especially at that moment in the movie where he sells the Christmas tree lot their tree back. Come on, man. Come on. No one is that horrible. Nobody's that horrible.
I like how the guy's out there Christmas Day selling Christmas trees and stuff as well. It's just like, geez, this guy's really in for the bank, ain't he?
That's 3 yeses from us. Number 4. Do any of the plot lines deal with any of the core 4 meanings of Christmas? Get out of here. That's 3 yeses.
Yeah.
Family, nostalgia, generosity, or hope.
All of those
It is
things.
literally all 4, which I
Okay.
think is the only movie this year that did it.
It's bad luck to mention a perfect game before it happens, but boy, this pitcher's really looking good on the mound.
Number 5, does someone dressed as Santa, make an appearance?
I thought for sure this was going to be a no, but like son of a bitch, if they had on the 11th hour come in and rock you with a Santa Claus.
It's true.
I wanted to see Giamatti dressed as Santa.
No way that was going to happen.
Every
man.
time
No
I
way.
gotta shimmy down a tree.
Santa, you smell like my sandwich.
You could smell Santa coming. It's a bad trait.
Number
Son,
6,
who's giving you a fish sandwich?
Number 6, does it feel like a Christmas movie? I think
I'm
it
gonna
does.
say no on this one. You do? Okay.
To me, it does. Yeah, it
what do
does.
you say, Adam? You're the tiebreaker.
Yeah, I think it's definitely Christmas centric and focused there and everything for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bad Christmas. It's a bad feeling.
It's
but
not
it
a good
does
time.
Feel like Christmas. Yeah, yeah.
The snowball's rolling downhill. I don't think we're going to be able to stop it.
Number 7, is this a movie you would only watch during the holiday season? Bruce Leslie.
Well, to be fair, I don't
To be fair.
like watching it. I don't like watching it because it's a little painful, but it's well made. It's beautiful. I could not imagine trying to watch this over 4th of July weekend, though. Like, it's a dreary movie, so I need dreary weather.
Honey, sit down. It's
So I'm
4th of
voting
July.
yes.
We're watching the Holdovers.
I'm giving it a point. Whatever the answer that scores a point, I will not watch
Yes.
this outside
That's
of a
a yes.
3-month window. Yeah.
Adam, what do you say?
Yeah, definitely. You're not watching this outside of Christmas, so yeah, this is definitely is a Christmas movie that you'll only be watching during Christmas. There's no July in this.
I will never watch this movie again, but I did like it, and I'm glad that I only watched it over Christmas. So I'm going to say yes. So that's 3 yeses.
I ended up buying it, so like there's a chance I'll go back and watch it at least once or twice, just to kind of be like, oh yeah, I did, let's justify that $8 or whatever it was.
Is this reasonably anyone's favorite Christmas movie? Adam Portress.
If
Reasonably.
No, not a normal person. I'm not going to say that there's not a person in there that would certainly enjoy this, and the cynic kind of person and stuff that might enjoy this, but your regular, average, ordinary Joe, nah.
I hate to be the guy that breaks up a no-hitter with a bunt, but no. If this is your favorite Christmas movie, you are never invited to my Christmas party.
Yeah, that's a no from me too, man.
I like it when the lady's crying about her dead kid. That's my favorite part of this Christmas movie.
When the delightful black lady just breaks down crying in the kitchen at that Christmas party. Oh,
Everybody's just like,
kids, come on in here, see this.
On the 4th of July, no
what a
less.
drunk woman looks like. Number 9, does this movie make Christmas seem magical in some way? I think we all know the answer.
It might be a Christmas miracle if you could get through it.
I mean, dark magic counts.
That is
Curses are
definitely a
magic.
no. That is definitely a no for number 9. And number 10, could this movie reasonably fill someone with the Christmas spirit?
It started
That's a no.
so well.
It was
It
great.
crashed.
It was great.
I wake up on Christmas Eve and I'm just like, I got to watch the Holdovers because it's just filling the heart with joy.
So, Bruce, what's our tally?
7.
7. So it is a
7.
Christmas movie.
I think it ties Gremlins for the most Christmassy movie we covered this month.
Son of a
Might
gun.
Actually.
Who would
It might
have thunk
actually.
it, man?
Talk about a double header on Christmas Day. Or, I mean, a double feature. I got too many baseball analogies, and I don't even like baseball. I mentioned Pete Rose, and I'm stuck.
Robert has said Giamatti has already done Santa in Fred Claus.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Vince Vaughn's brother, right?
Yeah. Fred Claus was all right. I remember liking that well enough. Hadn't watched it since, so that tells you that may be one of those that you want to keep in that memory of just going, yeah, that wasn't too bad. All right, well, let's get down to it. Bruce, what is your rating and recommendations for The Holdovers from 2023?
Well, it's the kind of movie that makes me really envious of the cinematography. I love it. I love that they went out for it and accomplished what they were seeking. Because of that, I recommend it. You can turn the sound down and enjoy this. And you can watch the movie if you are the kind of person who likes to have an empty feeling of despair from a beautiful piece of art.
Give me that despair, please.
That's I guess I got to give it stars, don't I? We're not doing Robins anymore. I'm going to give this one 4.5. Just, man, the visuals carry this thing for me. 4.5.
Sean, what do you got?
You know, I really am surprised with how much I like the film. And it's weirdly, not weirdly, Alexander Payne's pretty good at that third act. It's the third act that completely saves this movie. Which is when all you watch are superhero movies for 10 years. Boy, having a good third act, boy, like it's such a rarity. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe it.
No big blue light coming down from the sky.
Yeah, somebody had a thoughtful idea here and like put care and effort into their script. Oh my God, I can't believe it. So for me, I'm gonna give it 3.5, only because there are so many moments in this movie where I like it just I'm filled with revulsion, which I know is the point of these films. But there are moments where I'm like, I can't. It's not like I can recommend this movie to somebody. Like, no one's like, oh, you know what? You should see The Holdovers. It's great. Like, no one's going to say that.
First date movie.
Well, with that track record you had, man. yeah. Adam, what do you think?
For me, this is I would say this is. I'm going to go with 3.5 stars here. I thought it was very good, well acted by everybody. There was one shot that I didn't like for a very specific reason. There is a very extreme, maybe the closest close up in the entire movie of Joyce Randolph's face, the black lady, and for whatever reason, she just looks like Tracy Morgan in that one shot.
Oh, no.
One shot, she looks like Tracy Morgan in drag. And I was just like, it threw me so out of it. Like, it wasn't any other time, but that one time in that one shot, I was just like, oh. Okay, all right. Thank God it wasn't just...
Jackie D, you like Phil Collins?
I was just thrown a loop there for a hot second. That was just reminded of the old Star Jones on The View. I am a lawyer. Some of that stuff going on. So, but I did really enjoy it. Paul Giamatti is great as always and stuff. So recommendation for me. Everyone should probably see this one around the holidays at least once. Especially if you're done with all those Christmas cheer movies and you want to have a little bit of bring you back down to earth before the new year kicks here and everything, maybe The Holdovers might be a good shot for you. Well, that is it, everybody. We got another week under our belt here and another year under our belt. That's right. We're going back in next year to 2026, and we're rocking it out again with our new series that we are calling. Foreign films? What would I
recommend to non-cinephiles?
There you go. So we'll be kicking that off next week with Sammo Hung in The Magnificent Butcher from 1979. So we're a little Hong Kong flicks, and you're not going to know what else is coming in the next couple of weeks here because we're going to be all over the place, and we hope that you are here for that cinematic journey with us and everything. In the meantime, Bruce, where can we find more of your work on the internet?
Taking a little Christmas break, but I'll probably be coming back to YouTube soon, working with my youngest. He's going to be directing another short film that hopefully will be out in the festival circuit next fall, so you'll get to hear me talk about it until you're sick of it soon, so I won't say anything now.
Very good. Sean, what else?
I'm all over the place. Just look me up.
Just look it up and check out all the notes in the show notes there, and everybody. Those got all the links for all the things that we do, and if you like the stuff that we do, click on them. And we really appreciate that. That will do it for this episode of Half-Ass Movie Podcast. Join us next week for a new year and a new month and a new theme of foreign films. I didn't write this part into the script, so I'm screwing
Foreign
up.
films you recommend to non-cinephiles.
And we're kicking it off with Sammo Hung next week. Until then, for Sweet Sean's and Kovacs from the internet, Bruce Leslie, I'm Adam Portress, reminding you to get out there and watch some movies, you dirty babies.
Now is this a Christmas movie? Now is this a Christmas movie, or is it dumb slop?